Hi everyone who's not watching right now, because we know nobody's watching, but hey, this week on Highway to Mars, because we've decided that we're going to do a little preview each week for what's going out on Highway to Mars. Now, I did a short one yesterday on the midweek podcast, so this is what's happening at the end of week's podcast. So this is what's gone out this weekend and what we're recording right at the moment, which of course is different because that's just how we do things here. So, do you like her hair? Yeah. There's 3 shades of purple in there, people. And in fact, you know, she must have known that we were going to go in a specific direction with transhumanism because 3 shades of purple.
Not really. Just how it ended up being.
Do you like my Doctor Who mug? Look, see, I'm being very, very sci-fi-y. I've got a... You know what? I'm not going to... Yeah, look, I'm not going to do that, okay? Everybody does that. Everybody does the... I'm going to wear a t-shirt that says something cool because, hey, I'm trying to make sure that I'm just like you.
I just threw this on because I needed a shirt.
I know. Well, she can do that for me, you know, because I'm too lazy. I'm too old, too cranky, too lazy. Right, so, now that we've talked about hair. This week, going out on the podcast, so if you're actually looking at the feed from the website, or we'll be uploading new episodes to SoundCloud. Apologies if you're trying to follow the feed on SoundCloud right at the moment, because you know we're uploading the back catalogue and that's going to take me like forever. But if you go to the main feed on the Highway to the Mars site, then you'll get that. So the episode this week is on Gattaca. So what do we have to say about Gattaca? Well, it's got a very strong message.
Yeah.
It's got a strong...
Transhumanism is bad and always support the underdog and all that.
That's right. You know, transhumanism is bad and always support the underdog. And you know what? We had this conversation over breakfast that the East and the Western view of transhumanism is, I think, a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The East are a little more positive,
Exactly.
or at least the Japanese are.
Exactly. In fact, we've decided to expand our repertoire by at least 1, maybe 2 extra entries into transhumanism, specifically so that we can copy some Japanese stuff in. Because I think, I've got to say, I think that the East have got a far more nuanced version. Because most of the stuff that we've covered from a Western perspective has been bad, 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 really bad, to, oh my god, space Nazi bad. So, really, really, really bad. So, Gattaca covers pretty much all of the morality side of things, I guess, and basically gene editing. Well, it covers gene editing, but it also covers, you know, what happens when they use genetic screening to, you know, make decisions and all that kind of. Big Brother will want to know about your genome. And look, it's a very good movie. We both loved it. It covers all the bases in terms of that side of things. I think part of the reason why we decided to expand it is because Gattaca is very representative of most of the stuff which we've copied in so far on the transhumanism side, which is it will all end in tears, except if the little guy who doesn't get transhumanism is involved. And the door's about to slam. Oh, thank you. There goes the dog. So if transhumanism is involved, only the little guy will win because he's special and he will beat the odds. He will beat even those that have some form of genetic editing. Okay, so we just finished watching The Avengers. Yay to The Avengers. Now, I think that The Avengers is actually a very important entry into transhumanism. And while probably many of you are going, what the hell? Let's face it, Avengers is comics fantasy. What the heck does that have to do with transhumanism? Now, this is another part of the discussion that we had over breakfast, because we do a weekly breakfast where we kind of talk through some of this stuff. And one of the things which I kind of observed in the weekly breakfast was that I think that transhumanism is going to become an important part of life, and she is demonstrating right now with her purple hair why that is. Because imagine if instead of having to use hair dye, you could
make it permanent.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about washing your hair out with all those horrible chemicals. You could actually naturally have purple hair.
That would be cool.
And I went so far as to suggest, look, you know what? If they allowed, and there's a technology out there called CRISPR, which is essentially the first beginning towards this sort of technology of being able to, I guess, edit yourself on the fly. I don't think it's that advanced, but
No.
it's early days technology, and certainly the transhumanists are very excited about it, and they have good reason to be excited about it. But I don't think that they're as excited as probably I am about what this technology is going to potentially be able to do in the future. Now, if you look around the world at the moment, identity is probably, at least in the Western world, identity is probably the big go-to discussion at the moment. Whether we're talking gender identity, whether we're talking racial identity, it doesn't matter. You know, from the end to end, cosplay, you name it. It's all about identity and how you want to identify yourself. And I made the observation over breakfast that if, for example, they released a version of CRISPR that was able to turn you into, you know, allow you to kind of, you know, reshape yourself in the form that you want. Let's say you're a man and you can be turned into a woman using CRISPR, or even better, you can become the first sentient feline in existence. That, and I said to Phoenix, you know, put your hand on the Bible and tell me that there wouldn't be somebody in line to do that. And of course she said, I can't do that because I'm going to be that person.
Yeah.
So,
I'd rather be a cat right now.
Exactly. And look, I think the Avengers highlights the one area where I think science fiction has basically got it wrong. And it has got it wrong big time. And that is in the area that I think that the form, shape, the substance of humanity into the future is not going to look really quite the way it does now. The future of the human race is to look quite different to where we are. Now, this is where I think the East has actually embraced that idea and certainly gone down that road, because God knows we have any amount of hentai porn on cat women. In fact, you know, we got hentai porn on everything. But anyway, what I'm saying is that the Japanese have been playing with this idea for quite a long while, and I suspect that for them, if they had the ability to change form, they certainly would take it up a lot faster than necessary. But I think the Avengers kind of plays into that, because if you look at cosplay and you look at all these things, let's face it, people want to kind of, they want to play with this stuff. Now, at the moment, it's play, but what happens if you couldn't just, what happens if with just a little genetic editing, you too could look like Chris Hemsworth? What would you do?
I don't want to look like Chris Hemsworth.
I'm just saying, it could happen. So anyway, that's going to be what we're going to be talking about on the Avengers when we get to it. And that'll be in 2 or 3 weeks when we actually catch up with Avengers in the feed, because we are several weeks ahead recording. For once, we're actually several weeks ahead in the recording of what's going out live on the feed, so that you can look forward to that. But nonetheless, this week, as I said yesterday in a short live yesterday, we're going to be looking at politics and transhumanism during the week. So I released one midweek last week on the American presidential election and transhumanism. And this week I went one further to link transhumanism, the American presidential election, and the world of Bioshock, specifically the City of Rapture. So there you go. That's out midweek. So you can listen to that this week. But while you're waiting for our episode on the Avengers, go and listen to Gattaca, because we both love Gattaca. We both had a great time with Gattaca. I edited the podcast yesterday. It was good fun. Anyway, thanks everybody, and we will see you next week. Bye for now.